Dum da dum da dum da dum da da da. Dum da dum da dum da dum da 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 da.
What's up, YouTube? This is Steven from Kayak Cowboys. Today I'm going to be going over the Ascend 12T Kayak. I've had this kayak for about 4 months now. In that 4 months, I've taken about a 30-mile trip down the Swanee River camping and done about 50 hours worth of fishing, primarily freshwater so far, small lakes, creeks, things like that. I'm going to be doing a little review for you, just tell you some things that I like, some things I wish they would fix, and I'll go over some things that I plan on doing to this kayak. And a little bit later, we'll be doing a stress test, and I'm going to see just how much I could do on this kayak. Okay, so starting from the front, working our way back, I'm going to start with these handles, gray handles. I actually really enjoy that the handle is forward facing as opposed to horizontal. With the kayak, to me, it just makes it a little easier gripping it and pulling it up. I'm not sure if these are advertised for it, but these three little notches work perfectly for keeping a spare rod in the front of the boat, keeps it from sliding around. Front deep well is pretty good. These bungees came included. I use it a lot with camping. It pretty much handled all of my camping gear. Working back to the midsection here, it's got this paddle holder molded into it. It's nice for if you just need to put the paddle down for a second and make a couple quick casts. This non-slip pad comes in the kayak from the store. I stand up all the time while I fish. It's an extremely stable kayak, and this pad makes it to where no matter how much water you get into it, you're not going to slide around even if you're barefoot. This front storage section here, it's not a dry storage, but it's good size. I don't know how well you can see up in there. It's a little wet from where I was trying to clean it out. Whenever I use this, I use dry bags regardless, so to me it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it does not stay 100% dry. As far as scupper holes, you've got 6 total. You've got 2 up front, 2 underneath the seat, and then you'll have 2 in the very back. It comes with all of your scupper plugs from the store. I keep them hooked in there while I'm not using it just so I don't lose them. This little section here is a nice little twist off dry storage. Now this does come with a bag inside. The storage space is a little small. As you can see, I can't get my hand in. It's probably big enough for a cell phone, your wallet, and that's your keys. That's probably gonna be about it, but it's nice. I do keep my wallet, my cell phone in there. Good little cup holder. Nice little molded storage spaces here. I use these a lot for baits soft plastics that I throw off. Seat is fantastic. I'd say that's probably one of my favorite parts about the seat, or about this kayak. It does have this little rail in here where it slides into, but the front, I would say, biggest complaint, the front is not very secure. It's nice because you can slide this seat out. Whenever I was on the Swanee, you just take this seat, you slide it out, and now you have a place to sit on the side of the water. It comes with these nice little track mounts up front. I'll be utilizing those a little bit later on with my transducer arm. Haven't decided if I'm going to mount my fish finder into one of these slots here, or if I'm just going to mount it directly onto there. I'm going to look at that a little bit later. I do wish the seat had an option to sit up a little higher. I've seen some videos where people are taking these seats and actually putting it onto this section here and then on top of these rails, and it gets it up a little bit higher, and you just bolt it down with that. I'll probably play with that a little bit later and see how it goes. Coming back a little farther, good space back here. I like to keep a couple boxes back there with some soft plastics and stuff. Comes with 2 rod holders, 1 on each side. The one thing I did find that I like about this kayak is the other kayak that I had was rotated out a little bit. Whenever you paddle, you tend to want to hit the edge of your reel. These sit a little bit more in line, they stay out of the way. Coming to the rear, it has 2 nice deep storages back here. This one seems like it's perfect size to fit a good hard cooler if you wanted to mount some rod holders to the side of that. Right now I just keep one of those little plastic boxes in there just to put my tackle in. Obviously you've got your 2 rear scupper holes, and then again this bungee came with the kayak as well. I don't use anything back here. To me it's just a little far back to get to. Whenever I was paddling down the Swanee on the one trip that I did, this was just kind of anything extra would fit back here, anything that I didn't need to get to readily. And obviously to the very back you have one nice grip back here, and I do like that this one is this way. That way when you pick up from the back, it just kind of keeps everything in line a little bit better, keeps it from rocking around. You have a drain plug here that unscrews. Haven't had to use this yet, but I do like that it's able to be covered. The last kayak I had, it was like they basically just drilled into the side of the kayak and it was just a hole. I went and bought this Ascend paddle. I didn't have a paddle whenever I bought the kayak, so this one's been great so far. I've really got no complaints with that whatsoever. And at this point, we're gonna take and do a little stress test and see how everything goes.
'Cause I saddle up my horse and I ride into the city. I make a lot of noise 'cause the girls, they are so pretty. Riding up and down Broadway on my old stud Leroy, and the girls say, save a horse, ride a cowboy. Everybody says, save a horse, ride.
Because of the ambient noise outside, I'm gonna go ahead and just voice over this part. So first thing we want to do is we just want to go ahead and stand up. And I want to just get some balance, rock it back and forth, see where it engages, how far I feel comfortable tipping it, and just kind of get a feel for how far I can go before this thing wants to tip over. And what I'm finding here is once it gets to a certain point, it almost feels like it engages and locks in. It is very difficult to get to go past a certain point. I'm gonna go ahead and paddle myself back out. These waves from the jet skis out back behind me are kind of pushing me into the shore a little bit. So I'm just gonna readjust myself a little bit here. Now, if you can see, I'm gonna go ahead and start walking forward. This was just this is gonna be a little more on the extreme side of things. Basically, I'm just seeing how far I can push it at that point. I'm gonna rock it a little bit harder now and see if I can go past that point where I felt like it locked in a little earlier, get a little more comfortable standing. This would be extreme conditions, but if you happen to be standing up casting and a boat drives by, it gets really rocky. As you can see, this thing is not flipping over nearly as easily as I thought it would. So we'll go ahead and try to do some stand-up paddling. It's actually very easy to paddle. It tracks fairly well. Just gonna get out past these trees a little bit here, and what I would like to do next is get out and see if I can get to where I can't touch and see how easy it is to get back into this thing. Very stable. You can see it lock in. It gets up to that tipping point, locks in, and then doesn't go any further than that. And I weigh 215 pounds.
Wasn't so hard, was it?
Nope.
So, in conclusion, overall, extremely stable kayak. I really enjoyed this kayak so far. If I had one absolute main complaint about this kayak, it's the paddle holders that you see holding onto it right now. Those things are extremely flimsy. I don't know if you saw in the video, but they actually popped off once. It's happened several times while I've been out on the water. That is something that I absolutely plan on fixing. I'll post it up in another video shortly. And we're going to start modding this thing out and see what we can do to it. Thanks for watching.
I'm the only John Wayne left in this town, and I saddle up my horse and I ride into the city.